What's up? Happy Monday. It is currently 74 degrees and sunny where I live right now. 74 degrees and sunny. And you're going, Jared, you're wearing a vest right now. That's right. My house is built into a hill. And my office is like in the back corner, like dug into the hill. And it's fucking freezing in here. Because the air has to be on for my house. Because we have skylights everywhere. So like direct sun just heats it up. And I got a baby. You got to manage temperature a little bit better. So yeah, it's always hilarious. I'm literally wearing like flip-flops and I come in here and like put on sweatshirts. It's ridiculous. But happy Monday to you guys. We got a banger. We got a banger of a show. I have all my tabs lined up. I have all the stuff I want to talk about. I have my 4-hour chart that I just drew kind of out of my ass on Wednesday. And it looks like this. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Literally drew this line, and look what happened. From whence we last streamed. We just went whoop, 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 and we're just hanging out in the same area, man. Marquette, what's good, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Good to be here. Fucking beautiful weekend. Power sprayed my deck and just sat outside and like drank margs and hang out. Enjoying life, man. How y'all doing? Yeah, man, it was sick. Oh, man. Everything good? You good? Sorry to hear that, man. All good, though. Man, that's awesome. Well, look, that's all we want. That's all we want. You know, after the stream last week, I was sitting here and I was looking at the charts and I was like, I hate this. I hate this channel. I hate it because it looks wrong, right? Like, you know, I usually will go off of line charts for crypto, at least on like 4 hours or maybe even up to dailies. And this is a weekly. So I drew this last week, but I didn't really ever like talk about it. And I want to talk about how unique something is really quick, and then we'll get into what it means. Okay. You know, I'm going to do this differently. I'm not going to do that. Do they have numbers in this motherfucker? What is a signpost? I need to mess around with this more. It's pretty sweet. All right. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll shoot text for the moment. One. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. These are actually 2 touches in consecutive weeks. So this would actually be 3, 4. And this one right here would be 1, 2. Okay. So you have 1, 2 on those 2 weeks where held, 3, 4 right here. And then a reject here on 5. And on a weekly chart on anything, that's unique. Like, that is unique to me to see. I mean, this is, I mean, I'll fucking zoom in on this bitch. Okay. This is I'm not screwing around here. I didn't like bend the line to make it work. That's literally top to top to top to top. Okay. Maybe that one's not. Pretty damn close. And that one definitely is. So at the minimum, it's 4. So this one, all right. I'll take that one off. If we're doing it, let's be accurate. Doesn't really change my point much anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on a line that holds on something like Bitcoin. This is the index, no less, too. Okay, so like That doesn't happen often. And this shit drives me crazy down here when there's just a big wick that's never challenged. It drives me crazy. And so when you draw, like, that's how you draw a channel, guys. Okay, I'm sure you all know that. I hope you all know that. You essentially, if you can get two places, like a pivot movement, you draw those lines, connect it, clone it to the other side. That's how you draw a channel. It's very, very fucking TA 101. All right. And the more touches there are, the more obvious it is that area is being respected. Okay. So it's like, as with anything, technical analysis or just life in general, you have to assign weighting or significance based on the amount of information that you have, right? In a baseball game, if you have one at bat and you hit a home run, you can't reasonably infer that every time you get to the plate, you're going to hit a home run. Okay. But if you hit 70 in a season of 162 games, like, you feel pretty good that this person's going to probably hit at least 40 the following year, right? Like, you can feel pretty good about that. 5 touches on an uptrend like that is what I call the parabolic flip line. Okay. I call it the parabolic flip line because it will cap price, and it will continue to cap price. And this is the alpha I'm giving you today. And if you should take notes, okay? Because this applies for everything. Doesn't matter what it is. Stocks, crypto, large, mid, small. Okay? This is your alpha. Write it down. Learn it, memorize it, internalize it. And most of all, DM me on Twitter or send me a message on Telegram if you see the parabolic flip line broken. And you say, well, Jared, what the hell's a parabolic flip line? Glad you asked. People always talk about the parabola, what a parabola looks like. And everyone's like, you want the parabola. Think of Pepe recently. Just whoop, okay, all the way up. Price is generally capped on something like this. That's the high side of a channel and or the parabolic flip line. And the only way you actually see that parabola go is when not only is this broken through, but kind of held as support. And so breakthrough, they try to send it back down. It can't. Off to the races, baby. We're flying. That doesn't happen often. Well, it doesn't happen often in most life, but it happens a hell of a lot in crypto. Okay. And so for this to be a 5-touch top or 4, fine, we'll call it 4, a 4-touch top on a weekly chart, guys. This is going back. The first week of this would have been fucking January 16th. We found out my dad had cancer on January 13th. So, anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means this is significant. And at any point in the future, until this is resolved, broken up, whatever, it's going to be the line. So on whatever chart that you have, you should be, like this, okay? Whatever it is you got to do, so you know that this is not bullshit, because this will not just be one of those things that this runs up to again and is not, and just like easily slices through like butter. Okay, I just want to make that clear. Knowing that there's that much significance into the top side of the channel, the parabolic flip line, the channel top, whatever you want to call it. I call it the parabolic flip line because it's the most fun. It's how I called, remember Sol, when I was like, Sol's going to go absolutely nuts. This was like way back ago. It was like 2 years ago when I called it like 64, and I was like, yeah, this shit's about to go insane. And then it literally went to like 250. It was off of this. It was the parabolic flip line because it went parabolic. And if we know that the top side of this is this significant, then you clone to the bottom side. And like, I hate having to like anchor the bottom of a channel against a wick. It literally drives me crazy. It fucking... Oh my God, do I hate it. Because it just looks like shit. It looks like it's out of nowhere. And so I've had it for a while, and I've drawn it for a while, and like, whatever. And if you remember, at the end of last week, we started talking about it. And look where we are now. So the last 2 weeks, it's literally just been like playing around in this zone where it's respecting the area. It's respecting the area. Like, there's no reason for this to be holding. You go to a daily chart, and there's like not a whole hell of, like we talked about before. How did I just get logged out? Fucking what? I just got logged out of Restream. I assume you all can still see me, hear me. Never happened to me before. All right, we're back. And so this area, there's no reason for us to be sitting here, okay? Okay, you can read me fine. There's no reason for us to be sitting here. Like, these are in wicks, and we're just kind of like slowly grinding sideways. We're slowly grinding sideways right into this decision point. Like, right into the decision point. And we're at that spot. We are at that spot. I know that TradingView has its own calendar now, and I really want to start using it, and I will. I just have this like autofill, so I'm going to clear everything. Shift the United States. Restart this week. We got minutes on Wednesday. Friday, yep. Friday will be an event too, but probably not as big as the minutes on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central. So we're sitting here just kind of grinding to Wednesday. Hey, look what happens on Wednesday. Okay, I'll put the vertical lines on. Here's the start of Wednesday. There's the... Fuck you. There's the end of Wednesday. Okay? Hey, look, it's going to happen right there. Like, it's going to happen right on the line. It's going to happen right at the edge where a decision would have to be made, right? Where a decision would have to be made. So I think that's what you're going to see for the next couple of days. You're just going to see probably some liquidity runs on Bitcoin. There's really nothing to speak of. I have literally, this is one of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more things I'm going to go through with you guys. But it starts with this note saying that, like, I don't think we're going to see shit at least till Wednesday. And it's grinding to a point that makes a lot of sense for me personally. So when I look at this, I say, it is either going to be the reason why we feel good to move higher, and you get a breakout high. So I'm going to give you the trade right now. I already gave it to you last week, technically. If the low's already in, which I'm not saying that it is. But it would be minimum there, and more likely if we get a breakout to that high side, at minimum there. Okay? That's the long. And it's a pretty simple trade, if I'm honest with you, because all you have to do is look at the recent highs. It's a breakout of 27.425. This is the trade. This is the long. This is the easiest fucking thing there is. The stop's down here, as long as we don't take it before then. If we just kind of grind sideways into it, then you finally get like a squeeze upward, bam, we move higher, take out these highs. These two highs right here. You take it out with strength, you long it, set your stops under the recent low. You don't got to worry about it. There's a 5-hour trade in there somewhere if you get a good entry. It's as simple as trading can get. Like, this is keep it simple. Is it worth a punt? You know, ordinarily, if this was just like lining up in the middle of an insignificant area, I would say no. But given what we just talked about, you got 4 touches on the TRL. We're like just squeezing right up against the bottom. Maybe. But at the same time, it's easy to set the loss. So set the stop loss and no one gives a shit. The other thing I would say is the fall, if there's a fall, is going to be swift. It's like we talked about last week, man. 25.2 at the minimum, 24.3 more likely, and that's based off the VPVR, if you all recall, when there finally starts to be people home. Starts 25.7 and goes down from there, right? There's the peak at 23, but we're still just like riding this cusp of deadness where there's no action, and it's never a good thing. I mean, look, doesn't mean we're going to go there? No, it doesn't. It does not mean we're going to go there. It just does mean that, like, if you're one of those people that likes to trade with a mental stop loss, not with an actual stop loss, that's when you're like, oh man, I don't know how it happened, but you know, I longed at 26,859. Then all of a sudden I was at 3x leverage and we were at 25.2. What the fuck do I do? And I get messages that are like, hey man, I'm down 40% of my total account because I was using leverage. And all of a sudden, before I knew it and I didn't want to take the loss, what do? This one's for you. This is how that happens. All right. So you got to have that tight loss, dude, because I'm telling you, if this breaks to the downside, it's going to be swift. It's going to be swift and instantaneous. Bam, right down here. There's no one home. There's literally no one home. It's nice that we've just been hanging out waiting. You look at the ES, it tried. This is the S&P 500 futures contract. We got this equal high. We got this little poke. They're trying, went higher, had a little gap down. All right. Which has really just been following the NQ, which is like, get on my back, I got it. And it's running up towards like local resistance. But when I look at this, I see, a lagging attempt to break out by the S&P 500. And then we look at our nifty chart here, which I always bring up to you guys and say, this is incredible alpha. You need to keep an eye on it. And we're against the top band. We're against the top band on the S&P. Here to help, man. Here to help. Glad you like it. So if we're up against the top band in the S&P, I don't know. I want to see what happens over the next 2 days. The thing that we do know for sure is that there was a tried and true bull divergence on the DXY. That is a confirmed bull div on the DXY, which means that target is right here, 105.65. That's a confirmed divergence. That is a confirmed divergence. It's also DTL breakout. It's also double bottom. Like, there's a lot of people who think the dollar is going to gain strength in the near future. There's a lot of people that think the dollar is going to gain strength in the near future. People have asked me, is that still a divergence? It's pretty close. But equal lows on the MACD, even when there's a lower low on the actual issue itself, is still technically a divergence. So, yeah, did it again. If we know that the dollar has strength on a weekly time frame, the scenarios that we just talked about, which one seems more likely? Well, what would seem more likely to me is that price would reverse and go lower. Fine. But we do have the economic calendar on Wednesday where the FOMC is going to talk. So for whatever reason they believe that the dollar is going to have a run in the near future, for whatever reason that is, it could be reversed. The FOMC does what they do, right? Unshockingly, look where we're just drifting to right now. Look where we're drifting. We're just drifting back down to my area. Still the most significant area we could have possibly had, where we expected there to be a challenge, and look what we've done so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 months. We're working on 3 months of coiling underneath this key level, which I've been pounding the table about essentially for 3-4 months. As like, this is just not some shit you blow through. Go back and look at the videos, man. They're all on YouTube. They're not on Twitch. Twitch, they disappear after, I think, a week. On YouTube, they're all there. Go back to January, when we finally got the breakout. February, we were talking about it. Beginning of March, where I was like, yeah, I don't know. Everyone's thinking like Bitcoin's going back to new highs. I don't think so. And it's literally stopping exactly where it should. Exactly where it should. So, and that's okay. We needed that to happen. On the, yeah, I was hoping that wasn't going to get there that quickly, but here we are. So against the QQQ, it looks less great. I don't know if this actually would work. Yeah, maybe. So there might be some support there. And just like the fucking most boring thing you've ever seen in your life. It's like, look at that. That's insane. Since the day I left for Florida, this is the day I left for Florida. We've just traded it. We've had inside days since I left, came back. Here we are. Clearly Ethereum is just waiting for something to do. It's waiting. It doesn't care. It's like, am I going to go back down and hit this red X that Jared was talking about? If Bitcoin breaks to the downside on that channel, it will. If Bitcoin breaks here and goes lower, Ethereum is going to break and go lower. Okay, that's how that's going to line up. So you're looking at 1650 Ethereum at best and 25.2 Bitcoin at best. I mean, really, we're at 26.9, whatever, at this moment. So it's not like that huge of a fall. But remember, we were at 31 and people were like, this is it. We're back. I fucking love Satoshi. Yes. Ordinals are going to lead us to the promised land, even though we talk shit about JPEGs forever. Yeah, and there's the other thing is there's not much to see. Here, other than what we talked about last week, which is like Ethereum versus the S&P, it tried to break out, it rejected, came back down. That says to me it's more likely it's going to 0.3 versus 0.45. That's a 50% greater than. Nah, fuck. It's not. 33% decrease versus the S&P to the bottom side if we don't hold this. So there's quite a bit going on. Good grief. All right, it does still show up. Something's going on with the restream, so I just wanted to check the chat. And like we talked about last week, the 50 underside test. This descending channel, or descending trend line rather, I don't see that breaking anytime soon. So you're probably going to see this retest at 0.062. 0.062. Thanks, Argio. I don't know why Restream keeps logging me out, but whatever. I gotta check that out. Those rat bastards. You guys remember last week on the stream? I think it was last week on the stream where I was talking about pudgy penguins. Did anyone happen to track what pudgies did last week? It went up 50% in value in a week. Like 4 ETH floor to 6 ETH floor. 6 ETH floor. ETH? They released toys, sold on Amazon. They were sold out like immediately. Pretty nasty. People are already talking about Pengu token. Pengu token. Because remember, Ape, a lot of people like that own apes, Bored Apes, like legit retired off Ape when it came out. They were able to monetize their own shit. The problem is, like Kobe pointed out in that one article he did, there's no reason to have it. Like Ape as a token is stupid. But doesn't stop people from wanting to get in. man. I mean, this should be the one thing that just makes me think, like, it's trying. Look at the weekly. Look at the weekly on the NQ. It's trying. Like, it kind of wants to go. And if I'm honest, looking at this, the next resistance for me, it really, after this little point here, which is like a slower daily time frame, it's 14.6. I find that pretty wild. I find that to be pretty wild. Link just doing its thing, man. It just loves to go down to this area, just fucking base around, screw her off. Like, all right, we'll just hang here for a while. Doge right on its line, low key, pretty good buy point. Pretty good buy point for Doge. Yanni, what's up? Yanni, what's going on, man? I'm glad you're back on YouTube because I felt bad that you had to switch over for a little bit, but I can't talk to you right now on that. I guess I can put it on the screen, but Restream keeps logging me out. But how you been? Matic, almost close to its level. AVAX, close to this level that I don't really recall drawing, but that makes sense. Juno, complete bag of dicks, as we'd expect. Adam, nothing to see here. Probably my favorite thing right now is Solana. And all these people who are like, Solana, you better watch out. Solana versus Ethereum, the better play is Solana. You should sell all of your Ethereum for Solana. I don't get it, man, but like people that I respect do. So, I mean, they're into it. I don't know. We can't even regain this like super simple fucking level here at $25. Never forget, Solana was $8. So there are people that bought at $8. Oh, Pulse Chain? Yeah, dude. Somebody was all over Pulse a while ago. Luxo? No. This is a small cap. Mainnet, let's go. Anytime there's a mainnet launch, that's usually a catalyst event you can play. I just want to know, like, if you're scalping right now, are you really scalping this bullshit? Just like unreal. This looks horrible. I noticed in my DGen chat, my boys that I've been trading with for a couple years, they've been excited and making money lately. Yeah. Yeah, lower highs indeed. Lower highs indeed. I mean, that's what I mean. It is just kind of compressing downward. Like, I remember, this is when KBM was like, we're short, bitch. It's going to zero. And then it popped back up, and he was like, what are you doing? Pretend like you've been here before. That was pretty funny. So, yeah, you've just kind of seen a whoop, lower, lower, lower. And then potentially lower again. But I really don't think, on God, I don't think anything happens between now and minutes on Wednesday. So you're just going to see like liquidity plays, right? You're just going to see this bullshit. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's my Chris Berman impression. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. Somebody's defending this, though. Someone's trying, like, even though we're getting lower highs, Link, someone's trying to defend the no lower low at the moment. You saw it here 1, 2, 3 times. Someone. And the funny thing about that is you would think that that'd be a person that would, be trying to get long, right? I don't want it to go lower. I want to go long. I'm building my position. I'm eating that up. Not necessarily. That could just be an arbitrage play. Let me hold this long. Gets higher, I'll short. And then I can close that out for small profit and accelerate my short once it happens. Market makers play games differently, bro. They just look for areas. I would love to get Sim on Simple Alpha, who has locked account now, and he's doing some cool shit. He and I had dinner in Chicago once a couple years ago, and he's a market maker. And literally, they're like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck what happens, man. I just want to trade. Like, I just want volume. I get paid by volume." It's pretty sweet. It is pretty sweet. People don't really understand that part of the game because you think that it's just like PvP. It's not, dude. Some people just want volume. Some people just want volume. Yeah, Virgin mid taken. I don't love it. But look how boring this shit has been, dude. If you're an Ethereum trader, fuck that, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5. And you're just kind of seeing this thing wedge down. The thing is, there's no greater sign that like people are just waiting for some shit to happen than this. Okay, when my MACD is just like kind of bouncing around the zero line up and down, it means there's literally people are just like, fuck, I don't know, man. What do you want to do? You guys want to stay here? Or you want to go somewhere else? No decision. It's coming though. No, don't do that. Let's see if I see any reversals in here. No, that's pretty neutral as well. 3-day looks okay. No, that looks okay too. Might be onto something here. Yeah, that's actually a decent amount of relative strength on. Yeah. Look at this though. Oh fuck, man, dude. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I just don't check this very often, but that is a weekly bull divergence right here that would have activated on this day. And so it would have activated here. And that's 30% in the NASDAQ since that activated. Your stop would have been under the lows. Your stop would have never been taken. That was October of 22. That's pretty insane. Wow. That sucks. But it has followed the plan pretty magnificently. Okay. Usually puts in the right shoulder. It did. Break through the 50, try to flip it to support, got a little sloppy, but you had this pivot flip, and now we're moving higher. The problem is that it's getting closer to like a later stage move, but here's how these moves typically take place on larger issues like this. Usually you'll see something like that and then a reversal. And this one will be the opposite side of this, where you actually see like a pulse higher with less momentum. So a plunge higher and like no one's actually trying to push that shit forward. Then you'll come back down and hit the 50. But that's an insane move, and I'm pretty disgusted with myself I didn't see it because, wow. I know it was a long time ago, but that's why you can't get lazy. And I got lazy for that. Not so much I got lazy as I was having a baby at the time, so like my priorities were elsewhere, but, you know, it's not like I didn't have time to look at that. All right, so what week was that? Let me go back. October 17th. Yeah. Bitcoin still went lower. All right. That's fine. That's fine. I do not see anything on this chart that gives me any like direct indication of where we're going to go. And it's pretty rare that I don't have like a feeling one way or the other. Okay. Obviously, we're at the channel bottom. We talked about the VPVR being empty at this moment. So, like, there's no one home in this whole space for $2,000. Fine. But this channel bottom is not nothing. Like, this channel bottom is for real. Like, it's very much being respected on the high side, which means it will be respected on the low side as well. And you can see that over the last 2 weeks. So I don't see much to suggest either way. And I have to assume it's either going to be a catalyst that comes from the news out of nowhere, or it'll be the FOMC on Wednesday. And they say some shit that people are like, what? Either if it's like, we feel good that we don't need a hike anymore. Because remember, the last actual CPI was lower. Yeah, 100%. So that's why, quite frankly, RJ, that's why I like to look at higher time frames, because a wick down, you would know pretty quickly if it's going to get filled again, right? Like, you'll see it start to come back. And you don't have to buy the wick. A lot of people would want to buy the wick, but that's how you can kind of get chopped up. Like, if you saw some crazy wick down to sub 26 and you wanted to take a punt, like, all right, because you'll know, it'll start running away from you pretty quick. But it's the recapture. So a lot of people don't really think of entry triggers. They just don't. Okay, so an entry trigger is something that gives you a sign that things are changing, right? So this here's one right here that I use all the time. So this would have been a long if I decided to scalp it on a 5-minute chart. That's a tried and true bull divergence right here, and it came on a catalyst down. Okay, so you could actually long this here, and you'd have been in from 26, to higher, whatever it may be. But a lot of times, when you see the punch down, that's one that gets you a pretty good entry right away. So that entry would have been there. But the easier entry, the more like conservative entry, is looking at whatever the previous high was before the punch down, and a recapture of that area and higher, then you're good to go. Like, it's going to rip after that point, which is what happened here. Came back up, kind of moved sideways. As soon as it kind of got through, that's when you saw the big move upward, because people that shorted here are now covering. That's blood in the water, and let's start moving. And so it even happens on the daily. Like, when you see, actually, the best person is to talk about this shit? Kaz. Kaz is really, he is a range recapture trader, I would say. I'll text him and see if he would agree with that. But, he's a range recapture trader. So it's not necessarily, if it comes down, his thing is always, if the trade breaks down, okay, you see this breakdown in a day, and you're like, shit, even if it stays on there for a couple days, when it recaptures his zone, that's when he goes long, and then you set the stop under the previous low. And it defines your risk. It's how you get our trade. So it's actually it doesn't have to necessarily be bad that it breaks down, but you can't. What people want to do is when you see the breakdown lower, people are like, either one, I want to short the breakdown, risky, or two, I want to buy the dip because I think we're going back higher, and they don't have rules for themselves to determine that they were wrong. So they just buy and hope without a stop, without any idea, and that's the problem with buying a fucking runaway wick is dude, I bought the runaway wick in March of 2020. And lost a shitload of money, an absolute ton, because I was like, there's no way. And it kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. I was literally sitting at my desk on the COVID crash day. And then finally, after I got stopped out 1 trillion times, I just flipped short and made almost all of the back. I was like, fuck it. Are we doing this? Let's do it. It was insane. So that's where those sorts of wild volatility moves are insane. And a lot of people like to trade and want to get in. You hear guys talking about, look at this low wick, bitch. You're like, oh, I got it. It was perfect. Look where I got my fill. And so you want to strike on that. It's like the fucking purest form of FOMO. There's a dude that bought 25.8 on that flash wick down, and then it ran back to 27.6. That's a $2,000 move. And he's like, yeah, man, I caught that fucking wick. And you hear it and you want to do it. But it's not the safe play, man. The safer play, the plus expected value play, which is the name of the fucking show, is like just wait for it to recapture the area. So that's where, like, it's the same concept here with Ethereum, okay? This right here, this day, so this was what day? The 5th. Let me go to this on the 5th. Okay. This was an attempt to get back above the parabolic flip line. It was an attempt to get back above it. And so a lot of people were looking at this and they were FOMOing and they were like, son of a bitch, man, I really want it. I want to get it. And so you saw this, like, this pure emotion on the breakout, and then it rolled over and fell down. Okay. The short, everyone would love to say, is right here. Like, yeah, of course I knew that. No, you didn't, bitch. Like, that easily could have kept going up to here. Okay. The play, if you actually wanted to get short at the time, would have been when it surrendered it again in that area. And then you have a very easily defined short, because you can actually protect yourself. So when it actually fell down there, you put your stop here. And if you're not using leverage, like you shouldn't be, but people do anyway, even though I get emails all the time about, like, I've harmed my family, I fucked everything up. That's how you do it. And so you have all this room to work with. So it was the recapture of the attempted breakout which failed, and it would go the same way on the other side. Okay? Like, let me ask this question, because there's a decent amount of you in here right now. Like, how do you decide to take a position? Like, what? How do you say, yeah, I'm going to short? Or like, no, I'm going to go long? It's when everyone gets quiet because they're like, he's going to yell at me. I'm not going to yell at you. Shady's dog tells him, same. Good to see you, man. Based on my stream. But here's the thing, right? Like, I try to give you guys my feeling for directional moves. I purposefully do not give you triggers, okay? Because that's when you're like, you can get in trouble. I purposely don't give you guys triggers. Power flames. I take shitty signals and then I cry in the corner. Yeah, but like, so in my opinion, I use like 3. All right. I use 3. Maybe 4. And the maybe 4 one is a virgin mid entry, and that is way more complex. But everyone should know by now, if you've watched me at all, that I love MACD divergence trading, dude. It is my shit. It's how I've called tops and bottoms. It's how on this day, on April 14th, the day before tax day, I was like, yeah, you might want to close your position here. Because I like divergences, and this is not a high time frame, but like I would have gone down to a lower time frame if I was actively shorting and found an area to actually get out, which there was one. Okay, right here. This is a 4-hour divergent short. As soon as it flipped red, which would have been here, I would have opened a short at the next opening bar, which should have been there. I didn't short, I just moved to cash. Put the stop above highs, okay? And that's how I trade. So I use divergence. The thing about divergence trades is they're also double tops and double bottoms, generally speaking. So this is a double top. People go, well, they're not equal highs. Yeah, the strongest double tops and double bottoms are not equal highs or equal lows. So this is a double top failure. Tried to break out, bam, rejected, couldn't regain it. And so the reason why you have to have those triggers upon your idea is so you know when you're wrong, okay? You know when you're wrong. There's reasons to get long here. It's the bottom of a channel. we're into an area that needs to be defended. There's a very clear area that if we broke out, you could justify it because it's in an area where there's room to go to the high side. But I use divergences where essentially double bottoms, or I'll just use standard double bottoms, 1, 2, rip, and then you put your stop underneath. But really the ABC one is what most of you should use, and you don't. And that would be this, okay? A is this whole area. B is the support area. Stop at you. And then if you got to break out through this high, that's going to be another long. And that'd be a confirmation of your idea. That would be okay, I'm going long here. I'm setting stops under low. And then I'm going to set my target wherever it is. And that's where the C comes from. So a lot of times people call this an ABC entry or a 1, 2, 3 entry. A establishes the high, B establishes the low. If C can take out the original high, then you know things are going to move the opposite direction. So those are 3 entry triggers. And the reason why entry triggers matter is on high time. This is my whole methodology. I'm literally giving you all of like how I think and work now. I come on and talk with you guys on high time frames and areas that matter. And then I just drill down to lower time frames and go, are there things that make sense on a lower time frame for me to either get long or short in this area? So this would be a potential long area. This was a short area, but I don't love how just things in general are looking at this moment. So even though this is the bottom of a channel, we're ordinarily in a great market. You would look at a channel bottom and say, fuck yeah, let's get long. I am more interested in this breakdown, okay? If it breaks down from here, am I going to be the person that does it immediately? No. Okay? Because let me tell you something. There's usually a retest of the breakout or breakdown area. All right? And that's what this A line is. This A line has never been retested. The A line is like the break line off of a DTL. It actually stands for like the ass line, the ass of the trend line. But if this breaks down here, then this area, this 26.5 may come down and try to regain it. And it usually has a history. So I would potentially short from there. I don't ever like to be the first mouse. I've talked about this all the time. You guys have all heard it. I'm going to say it again. Remember old school mousetraps, dude? Like Looney Tunes back in the day? Looney Tunes? Fucking put out a mousetrap, piece of cheese in it. How many times can that trap go off? The old school ones. There's new ones now that you can knock out a bunch of them. Goes off once. So the first mouse comes in and is like, yeah, let me get that cheese, and gets snapped and killed. And then the second mouse can roll up and be like, yo, Dave got smoked. I want to take this cheese, though. And he has no problem. He can just take the cheese and walk off. So I'm a second mouse trader. I don't need to be the dude that gets the low tick. I don't need to be the guy that gets the low tick. Do you enter on a breakout or on a retest of the breakout? It depends, okay? It depends. I sometimes would set conditional market orders on Bybit. So like that would be like in this scenario, I would set a conditional market order here. Okay. Where if the mark price in Bybit hit 27673, it would automatically give me a market buy order, and then I would already have a stop in place. But generally speaking, RG, to your point, a lot of times you can get this breakout and it'll come back down and retest it and you can long there. Okay. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. The breakout retest, the breakdown retest, the double bottom, the double top, the divergence. I mean, so it's the things that confirm your basic ideas that you use to enter a position. The problem is people have FOMO, dude. People have FOMO. They see a breakout. What do? I'm leveraging long. I'm leveraging short. I want to get in on this. I have to get in there now. And you don't have patience. You get fucked. It's literally the game, dude. It is literally the game. Unless you have a magic dog like Shady, who will just tell you when to get long. You have to have a plan in place for the conditions in which you will open a position. You can make a case that right now, we just had 5 bars ago, a double bottom higher low on Bitcoin. Low is here, high is there, one bottom, one top, another bottom. You can play this range. So when it regained this level, long at 26.5, whatever, with a target of 27.3. You make the case. Not one that I enjoy, not one that I would like to trade, but yeah, that would be a one bottom, two bottom, double bottom, high or low. It's justifiable. It's just probably not a winner. So. And then, of course, a lot of other, people use shit like this as an entry condition as well. So this is a falling wedge. The breakout of the falling wedge, that's a breakout trade. You could absolutely have longed that. Set your stops under the recent low. Easy enough. Holy shit, are we getting long? No, dude. No. I was just talking about entry triggers, Matt. And then, even worse yet, let's say you do get an entry correct. You still got to have a target for when you get out. And a lot of times people play that game where they're like, no, maybe we could go higher, though. So I'm not going to, I'll just leave this open. And that's when people are like, I fucking round tripped my trade. People that bought here went all the way up. They're like, you know what? Yeah, this could be resistance, but we could also just keep going. Came back down, right back to the entry. Man, fuck. I round tripped it. So, long story short, everything is just sitting in wait. It's in a holding pattern. Everything is just like ebbing and flowing. I haven't seen it yet, Matt. Send it to me. I disagree, though. There's money out there. Just on paper, I'd have to see what that was and actually read it, and I will. But were they the only players? No. You think people didn't stop trading after FTX? Turns out that they're fucking frauds. Yeah, they did. So, But yeah, let me read it. I'll talk about it next time. Thursday, when I stream again. But yeah, there's nothing really to see here that drives me to action where I'm like, I have to go do this right now. This is drifting back down to the area where if we ever get back into this green area again, I'll be hardcore looking for longs. SPX at the top band, that's a negative. DXY is going to go higher. That's a negative. Okay. Ethereum tried to break out against the S&P and failed. That's a negative. It's hanging out here. The breakdown is unbelievably clear on where we would go if it broke down. That's neutral, not positive nor negative. BTC is up. BTC is up against a DTL and the 50-day. That doesn't give you a ton of room to the high side. So as you look through these things, there's some stuff that is neutral. There's some stuff that's neutral. But for the most part, it's either negative or neutral. The positive would be on a weekly time frame, we're at the channel bottom. Is that enough? I don't think it is. So Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central, flashbang, sorry. Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central, we'll get the FOMC minutes. And as long as Jerry P doesn't do any fucking crazy shit, I think we'll get something off of Jerry's notes, the FOMC minutes. I mean, this chart looks really good. I wouldn't ever want to buy it here, dude. There were so many times, there were so many entries, there were so many, okay, so how many entries could we have had? Easy entry here on the breakout, easy entry here on the retest, breakout there. Now you're in a second, third stage move. I'm not really interested in it yet. Is GMX on here? Oh, it is. How about that? GMX is always going to be a favorite of mine for a while. Oh, well, good for you, man. I think, right? I don't even remember what the price was. I mean, all right. But you bought it off the bottom? If you bought it off the bottom, dude, you can't be mad with a 2X. Can't be mad with a 2X. I'm always going to like GMX, dude, because GMX just does really solid shit. They make money. You know, I think next cycle, I was talking with somebody about this earlier. I think next cycle, like the Bybits and Binances and all that shit, like they're so just open to regulatory bullshit. You know who's not? GMX, DYDX. Like, I think that that's where I'm going to start trading. It just makes life so much easier. Yeah, dude, do you remember that a couple weeks ago when I called that out? And I was like, man, look at this. Look at the relative strength. And yeah, all right, that's not even what I want. Come on. Yeah. But again, like it's the same story here for me. This was the sign right here. I mean, no better entry ever than that. The wick down on whatever day that was, the start of March, would have been the perfect time to get in. Now, you know, look at this shit, dude. There's going to be people that bought here and are unloading. All right. I've talked about this 1,000 times. You would think if you bought here and it did this for months on end, you would sell. And that's not how this works. These people bought in March of 22 and they've been holding for 14 months, 15 months. And now that they're back to their entry, you know what they're going to do? They're going to sell at break even. It happened here on people who were like, it wicked up near, God, I'm just getting out. Send it back down. Sell, sold, back down. Up again, sold. So like I would expect this to do this for a while. That's literally, guys, what the cup and handle is doing. People don't get that. Oh, the cup and handle is the most fucking bullish shit ever. Yeah, it is. You want to know why? Because here's the cup. It builds the handle because these assholes are selling. No one ever thinks about that. But that's what's happening. And obviously people who are like, we're at resistance, I'll take profits. But for the most part, what I said, you have to, like, this is, I think, one of the best streams I've ever had. And I think I had hundreds and hundreds of live viewers. Was when I was talking about, like, every time you enter a trade, think about the other side of the trade. If you were the other side of that trade, what would you be thinking and why? Play devil's advocate to your own ideas and have that mental flexibility to see both sides. And that's when we talked about the Alt-I. If you go into TradingView, press Alt-I, you can flip charts upside down. So if you're just not good at having the thought without having to see it, flip that shit upside down. Like, the question is, would you buy here? Looking at this, we went up and challenged. And now we came back here, where this previous resistance might be turned to support. Okay? Where this previous resistance might be turned to support. We just talked about how buying breakout retest was a real thing. Yeah, I'll check dot in 1 second, Paula. By the way, welcome in. First time chatter. Always good to see new people. You see this, what was resistance now turned to support. So would you buy here initially? I think you would. Flip that bit upside down. That's resistance. It's actually going the other way. Right? It's like the easiest trick in the world, but for some reason, Alt-I has to be here for people to be able to see both sides of a trade. It does help. Nah. So, Paula, that's when the parachain auctions took place, and I was streaming that week, and I was like, parachain auctions, this is the catalyst you need to short this motherfucker right now, because I don't know if there will ever be another positive bull event in DOT's future after these parachain auctions are sold, and literally, woo, all the way down. That said, if you do our little alt-I trick, it appears to be at resistance. So Pot Odds says to me that like it's not the worst trade in the world where it is, but I would want to see this. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. When it comes to alts, also the thing you always want to check is how is it doing against Ethereum, and it's just been on a down only trajectory for a long fucking time. So the time where you would get more interested in DOT, I mean, I guess I can bring this up even further. Yeah, the time that you would get interested in DOT is if like, so this is a falling wedge. Technically, it is tightening. So like somebody is buying and building a position here. Where you would get more interested is if you actually saw some strength to break out of this and try to like, you know, try to reverse this trend. And if you go, well, like, what does that typically look like? Here, I'm glad you asked because we fucking had it here, right? That's a falling wedge on Bitcoin that it broke out of. And it's a falling wedge breakout is a trend reversal chart pattern. So, yeah. I don't know if you're a holder or if you have an interest in it. I don't really have any problem with that, to be honest with you. I made fun of it a second ago, but the reason why I make fun of DOT in general is because like it's fucking impossible to use, dude. I mean, it isn't if you really dig into it, but like I don't have time for that shit, man. I've been on every chain that has ever existed. I like to get in and try stuff out, you know, on different ledgers, on whatever. DOT is the most confusing thing in the world to me. Anytime you have a barrier to entry that is that hard versus the rest of crypto, people are going to go elsewhere. So they need to fix that problem. If they do fix that problem, then yeah, DOT has a potential great future because I know people like the parachain idea. The parachain idea with DOT is like they're trying to theoretically do what Cosmos has already done. But now they're kind of joining together. So who the fuck knows? Gave you a lot more than what you asked for there. Come back next time when Jared answers the question, not the question he was asked. Yeah, no problem, dude. No problem. Follow the channel, join the Telegram, join the Discord. We got a bunch of OGs in there. I've been streaming for 2.5 years. I've been in this since October of 2019. And I retired off of crypto. I do this now. But everyone's got to learn somewhere, dude. It's usually like DOT or Cardano or Doge or fucking Shiba Inu or SafeMoon or some shit like that sends people in. And eventually all roads will lead you to Ethereum and Bitcoin, and you'll understand why they're as popular as they are. But anyone who told you like DOT is the play is either a holder, like someone who's held it for a long time, or doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Or they know something. I'll leave that out there. They could know something. Like, you know, they finally fixed what the user experience is like, and it no longer sucks. Oh, nice. That'd be good too. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Got to play my outro. Any last questions? DOT was a good one. It's a good conversation. I hope DOT does well. I do. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll see you guys on Thursday. We'll talk more about shit. The thing is about Thursday, we'll have already had Wednesday happen. So we'll see how good my prognostication was, right? The other thing too is like Coin's just sitting down here. So like even Coin is trying to make this inverse head and shoulders. So Coin's trying to do it, dude. A breakout to the high side on Coin, this 97 would be a massive move for Coinbase. You'd probably see a 60% move from there, which would be crazy. Thanks, guys. So this is another one that's worth just keeping track of because Coin just essentially follows the crypto market cap and goes from there. Anyway, be safe this week. Don't do anything stupid. Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time is when the Fed will tell us what we do next. Later, y'all.